I'm Locke Wilford with 3 big reasons to buy at Dublin Nissan. Price, selection, and savings.
Drive the Sentra S as low as $17,530 with 0% financing.
Get more Nissan for your money at Dublin Nissan.
Drive the Murano SV as low as $29,935.
I'm Don Carswell. For every vehicle we sell in October, we'll be making a donation to the fight to end breast cancer.
Call, click, or come see us. Dublin Nissan, the only dealer you will ever need.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, out to West Lawrence High School. We're here with head football coach Kagan McLean. And Coach, you traveled to Spalding this past week and really didn't know what to expect, but you get up there and you really romped them. I mean, you put a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, really proud of our guys. Like you said, we didn't really know what to expect. Spalding had a new coaching staff this year. The head coach came from Colquitt County, been around a lot of winning programs, knows how to win, very successful guy, and has a well-coached football team trying to get his system established. We knew they were athletic. We knew they had some playmakers on the offensive side of the football, and they were very athletic on defense. And so we kind of were going in a little bit blind with only just a few games of film to kind of look at. But our kids really played well, responded. Offensively, we dominated the line of scrimmage, moved the ball up and down the field, put a lot of points up, like you said. Defensively, we played well at times. Had a couple miscues that we need to clean up, but for the most part, overall, did a pretty good job on the defensive side as well, and got a big region win.
Coach, a lot of points on the board. Let's just kind of run through it as far as the score, and you had some outstanding performance from several people.
Tyler Franks had a couple big touchdown catches for us. Daniel Dorsey had a big touchdown run, returned to kickoff for a touchdown. Christian Coven had a nice touchdown run there in the third quarter. Bradley Wilson had an excellent catch and coverage as well. And then late in the game, Lorenzo Turner with the young guys, we were able to get our JV guys into the end. He had a nice touchdown run. So spreading the love around, several guys getting into the end zone. So it was a good overall performance. And like we say every week, that all starts with the offensive line, blocking, opening up holes, protecting AJ, giving them time. They had a really, really good game. AJ was 20 of 26 passing. Brent Carr didn't get a touchdown catch, but had 13 receptions on the night. So, which gets him up around 50 for the year, and I think he's in the top 10 in the state in all classifications in receptions and yards this year. So he's having a great year as well. So it was a good performance overall.
Yeah, Coach, you go up in and you're able to share the love a lot, like we say. You're able to spread it around. You're able to have quite an arsenal as far as who can you throw the ball to. You got 3 great running backs. That seems to be working really well for you. And, again, we take it back to the line, but that seems to be the conversation. That seems to be the surprise in the community. That's got to make those young men feel well. Let's just talk just for a moment about those linemen and who they are.
Yeah, they've had a great season so far. We knew we weren't going to be very experienced on the line. Coming back, James Jaldon, our left tackle, and it was the only guy that got a lot of starts last year. Spencer Fields at center started a little bit. He's a senior. But we knew that he didn't get a lot of playing experience last year either. And those other guys didn't play much at all. Deontay Holloway, who's a junior at right tackle, who's really been a big surprise for us. He has been one of the most stable guys on that offensive line, did an excellent job. Charles Knight, who didn't even play offensive line last year, has also been a very stable guy playing right guard for us. Assignment-wise is very sound, not the biggest kid, but fights and battles in there. And then we've had a couple other kids that rotate in at left guard, senior Brandon Washburn, who's done a really good job for us, and a sophomore Terry Tobler, who stepped in at times and shown sparks of being ready for that Friday night fire.
Yeah, and Coach, we talk about that offensive line. It first starts with the want to, the desire. You got to stay with a block. You got to really want to either get on that hip or get in the right position. Now, you changed a little bit on your coaching this year, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, we're undersized on the O-line. We only have one kid over 300 pounds on the O-line. But Tyler Rogers, our offensive line coach, has stepped in and really done a great job. He's really passionate about it, has a great relationship with those kids, and is one of those fiery guys on the grass that you want out of your O-line guy. And he's done an exceptional job, really, not just teaching scheme, but getting those guys to believe and really getting those guys to fight and scrap and battle every play. And, we're going to have some holding calls here and there. We're going to have some mishaps because there isn't a lot of experience there. But every week they've gotten better, and just really proud of where they've come from where they've started.
Yeah. How do you do on penalties this past week if we look at that?
A lot better, yeah, a lot better. Yeah, which I'm not going to say why, but we did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought our kids played a lot tougher, a lot cleaner, on the road. And
Yeah.
only had one holding, or didn't have any holding calls this past week, which is a step in the right direction.
Sure is.
You only had a few flags thrown. So it was a cleanly played game, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see that in high school football. That's what you want. It kind of bogs the game down
Yeah.
when we're out there and we're making mistakes and the other team's making mistakes and flags are getting thrown.
Yeah.
But up there, both teams played very cleanly, and it was a good game.
Yeah. It's good to play on the road sometimes, isn't it, Coach?
Sometimes it's good to get a change of scenery.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it is. And that flow of the game is, like you said, it's so important. You could just stifle a drive on a couple of penalties and then, backside penalties. Of course, we could go on on that. But these young men are playing so well. We're going to recognize more of it in just a moment. We're going to take a short break, though, and be right back. So you stay with us.
When you want convenience, you want Neighbors Express, where you'll always find friendly, courteous service every time you visit us. Fill up with pay at the pump. Take advantage of our bigger and better selection of beverages and tobacco products. Enjoy our popular crushed ice with your favorite fountain drink. And you can always enjoy a fresh hot breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So stop by and see us today, where it's always convenient and friendly. Neighbors Express, locations at I-16 at 441 and in Cedar Grove, where we provide farm fuel for all our customers. When you want convenience, you want Neighbors Express.
Welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we want to talk about some kids. We want to break down some stats for you, and I got a few. I know the coaches are probably a little bit better numbers, but Coach Wade Donald Wade does a good job putting that up on Max Prep and keeping me up to date if I have to go and cover another game or have the opportunity to go and cover another game in the community. Right. And we love to share the love on TV 35. We cover all our local schools and look forward, Coach, look very much forward to traveling up to Mary Persons. I don't know if you remember the day, but had somebody talking to about it yesterday, how they had an iron curtain a few years back, 6, 7, 8 years. Nobody could come in, radio, TV. They didn't even really want a newspaper to show up there. They didn't want any media coming around there. They always put you on that other side with the hard bend. They want to make sure you're the visitors up there. But we won't get too far. We won't get too far ahead on them. But right now, I want to talk about outstanding performance of A.J. Mathis.
Yeah.
1,300 yards so far this year?
Yeah, I think maybe even close to 1,400 on the year. But he was 20 of 26 last week for 200 plus yards and didn't play the fourth quarter. But he is also, I think, in the top 7 or 8 in quad A in passing yards, and right up there in the state as well. So he's had an outstanding year, and we're a very balanced offense. We're almost directly 50-50 run pass. Yeah. So it's not like we're out there throwing the ball 80% of the time like some of these teams getting those big numbers. But AJ's been very efficient, making good decisions, and a typical game for him might be 12 of 15 for 200 yards, where he's not going to go 28 of 42 because we're not going to throw it that many times. But he's been very efficient, made some really good decisions, and we got a good receiving core for him to throw to, and the offensive line's giving him great protection. So he's had a good year so far.
Yeah. Of course, his main target, you may say his main target, if you look at the total yardage, Brent has the most yardage, 600-700 yards on the season. Then you drop on down to I guess Frank's after that, and then maybe Wilson.
Yeah, several guys. Brent Carr's our leading receiver right now in receptions and yards. Tyler and Bradley. Because Brent gets so much attention, are leading us in touchdown catches. So, they'll double up Brent, or they'll bracket Brent or do something like that. Yeah. And Tyler and Bradley have really stepped up and caught some big balls for us.
Yeah. And if you look at the percentage of completion, Mathis is over 60%.
Yeah, 63%, I think, last time we looked, which is outstanding for high school football. Well, for any level, be completing 60+% of your passes. But again, that's a testament of great decision making, not forcing anything, taking what the defense gives you, and having good receivers as well.
Coach, my numbers say we've got about 24 touchdowns on the year, about 12 each way.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
We're very, very balanced. As far as that goes, we've had some big plays through the air, had some big runs as well. We get down close, we want to load that box and pound it in if we can. But we've been extremely balanced on offense, which I think is important. keeps the defense honest. They can't take one thing away, because when you're one-dimensional and they take it away, now you got a hard time figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah, what do you do?
But being able to do both has really been the key to our success on offense this year.
Of course, you always want to run the ball. You got to be able to establish a run. Everybody knows that. We talked about football, and you talk about Coven, Dorsey, and Bernie, and what a good balance. They're all at 350 yards apiece, something like that so far.
Yeah, if you combine them all into one running back, we got one of the top running backs in the state. But yeah, Daniel Dorsey might be our leading rusher, right there at our leading rusher right now. He plays defense as well, starts at strong safety. Shante Burney also starts at corner on defense. Christian Coven steps in there, and is just a full-time offensive guy for us, plays running back. But all three of them done a great job. We've always been fresh at running back this year because of that. When Daniel was battling the ankle injury, Burney and Coven stepped right in and picked up the slack for him. So it's been good to have those three guys. All your eggs aren't in that one basket. And we're fortunate to have three guys that we believe can run the football and can be successful.
Yeah, and you got a good average on their carries. Again, that offensive line's opening up holes. Of course, you're going to pound it. You're going to lose a yard every now and then, like you say so many times before in the show. You got to flush it and move on to the next one. Right. And then when we look at the passing game, Coach, and you look at the average on a pass reception of 15, 16, 17 yards.
Right.
I mean, you just pick them apart down the field.
Yeah, and that's a stat that a lot of people overlook. Is that yards per reception, because a lot of that comes with yards after the catch. You throw a 5-yard hitch and we break a tackle, and now that's a 15, 20-yard gain. And that's something our receivers, we got some big, tall, physical receivers out there. We don't have a lot of those little scat backs who are going to run those 4.340s out there, but we got those tall, long kids that are going to run those clean routes and run good routes. Coach Edwards does a great job coaching our receivers. They run very crisp routes, clean routes. They have an understanding of defense and leverage, and they get themselves open, and they got great hands. So it's definitely nice to have those tools this year.
Yeah, and what's so impressive to me a lot of times is the positioning of that receiver. They get good position on the defender, so they're able to bring it in. And like you say, they always lunge forward for the extra yards, many times getting 2, 3, 4 yards after reception. And like you say, that's huge.
Definitely.
All right, so we'll take another short break and be back. We're talking about different players here at West Lawrence. We want to be able to highlight more of them, so you stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Real people steal people. They want real power, real options, real value. Right now, get real savings on chainsaws, blowers, hedgers, string trimmers, and more. The #1 selling brand of handheld outdoor power equipment in America. This fall, get a real solution. Get a Steel from Midstate Tractor and Equipment, 1325 North Jefferson in Dublin.
I welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen, and we just want to highlight a lot of these players and hopefully get them all, but there's so many that on and off the field, Coach, you have enough depth right now that you're able to keep fresh legs, you're able to keep fresh running backs in the backfield. The one position that you really don't alternate out is the quarterback, and with the success of him, why pull him out? Why not build him up? Why not let him do his job? And he's doing an outstanding job leading this team. Right. Experience really pays off. But we want to flip over on the other side of the ball, ladies and gentlemen. We want to talk about the outstanding job that the defense does. I mean, your box is strong, Coach.
Yeah, our front seven have played really, really well this year. I think last week, we were aided by 3 or 4 bad snaps from them, but they had negative 60 yards rushing, which probably 50 of that was on the bad snaps. But even if you take those away, we're looking at very minuscule rushing yards. So I thought our front seven did a great job last week and done a great job all year. De'Eric Jackson's our leading tackler in there at linebacker. He's our big Kentucky commit. Really the only kid we've got committed right now. I think we'll get some more when the season's over and people are realizing that we've got some pretty good players down here. But he's our leading tackler now, really the anchor in the middle at linebacker. Xavier Lewis at outside linebacker is #2 on the team in tackles.
He's doing a good
Had
job.
a great year for us, so far. Really does a good job of breaking down and being in the right position and cleaning up those bounce outs. And our D-line, it all starts, we talk about offense with the O-line, defensively flipping around, same thing on the defensive side of the ball. The D-line, they're eating up blocks in there. They're commanding double teams. You got Daniel Lindo, who's leading us in sacks this year with 7 or 8 sacks on the year already. You got Spencer Dacus, who's leading us in tackle for loss. He's always in the backfield. He commands a double team in the middle. And then T.J. Jones has really come on, first-year starter at defensive end, and gotten better every week and done an outstanding job for us. So those three are eating blocks up front, and those linebackers are able to run free and make tackles.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see, Coach. People don't understand that a lot of times, that when those linebackers are doing such an outstanding job, you got to look where that credit really is coming from. And like you say, those down linemen, those three men eating up blocks, they're in the backfield, people trying to slow them down, and that frees up your linebackers to fly around. But I just think that Lewis has really stepped up and played. Of course, we expected De'Aaron Jackson to be an outstanding player, and he brings it, Coach. I mean, he'll really lay the wood to him, so to speak. But Lewis seems to be in the right place, like you said, at the right time. He's a good, fundamentally sound player. Bonner's had a good year.
Yeah, Dre's done a good job on the other side at outside for us. He's been very solid over there and doing what we ask him to do. And also Devontae Royals inside, the other inside backer.
Yeah,
he's had a really, really good season. He gets overlooked a little bit with De'Aaron in there, but he's one of those vocal guys that brings a lot of energy to practice and to Friday nights. And, he's had an outstanding last couple of weeks for sure. A lot of people focus on De'Aaron and making sure they're running away from De'Aaron and Lindo on that strong side. And then you get guys like Xavier and Devontae that are picking up the slack on that, what we call our quick side or our weak side of the formation there. So they do a really good job too. And I think our whole front seven has really been outstanding. And it's helped too. You talk about with depth. We've had a couple guys we've been able to throw in when people get banged up and hadn't missed a beat. Like Jacob Holsey's jumped in there at inside linebacker. A junior done a great job for us. Javen Ash has stepped in at outside linebacker when we need him, done a great job. Got a few young guys jumping up there. Caden Snell's about ready to step in and be a linebacker for us on Friday nights. He's just a sophomore. So we've got several guys that are doing a really, really good job for us on that side of the ball.
Coach, you're senior heavy, that's for sure. You got a well-established team. Most of them, with the exception of the line, they've been there. They've been through enough games that they know what a battle's about. If we look back over so far in this season, you got an off week this week. It's a good time to kind of reflect a little bit. Man, you threw the ball the most, I guess, against Dodge, right?
Right, yeah, we had to. We were behind early on. We got to put ourselves in the behind the 8 ball a little bit in the second half. And we had to throw the ball a little bit to open some things up, and we were able to. And it really helped because by throwing the ball, you notice late in that game we had a couple big runs because they start softening that box a little bit, getting guys out of the box. And now we're opening up big holes and making big plays. Yeah.
And, Coach, you look on from that, I just wonder what game, I don't know if it's that one, but what game you feel like was paramount in your growth? Could you pick one or two?
I think a big game for us, I'm going to say two of them. Really, the South Effingham loss was a big game for us. We had so much adversity and so much that went wrong that Friday night and so much that went against us that Friday night that I've been on teams in the past that when that happened, they would have folded, But our kids fought the entire game and had a chance to win it right there at the very end. Against a good football team. I mean, they're 6-1. They're having a good year too. And I think that we dominated the game, but we didn't win when the adversity hit. And then you couple that with the very next week, we come back and we have to go on the road and play a very physical, very tough Statesboro team. And we go over there and I think we physically dominate the game. To me, that's the turning point that led to having the confidence and the big wins we've had at home against Howard and then against Spalding with region play.
Coach, how you looking on this week? How you look as far as injury?
It look good right now. Everybody's healthy. We don't have anybody that's got any major bangs, so we're good. That's what this off week's going to be about, making sure we stay healthy, focus on us, start to get a little bit of idea of Mary Persons in there as we get ready for a big game week next week. Yeah, they're taking a week off too, I understand. Absolutely. Everybody's going to be ready for that one. But before we move much further, Coach, I don't want to miss, we talked about injury early in the season with Cam Coop. He's healed up pretty well, hasn't he? Yeah, he's come on, and he had the ACL surgery in the off season, and has done a good job, especially punting the football for us. Has really been good about catching the ball and getting it off when they're rushing, and then really hanging some punts up there high that we can get down and cover. Kickoffs aren't quite what we want yet, but he's still progressing every week with that. We'll get him back to putting that thing in the end zone because it's tough to score when you're starting deep in your own territory. But he's going to get there, and he's improved every week, so hopefully that'll keep going. Yeah. And, Coach, if you look at his average, he's got to be 36, 37 yards a punt, and then he's had a few, another 10 yards from that. He's nailed a couple, probably 47, I think was his longest, something like that. He's really done a good job of that. Like you say, he gets good height on it. If you can count on that each week,
anybody to take a 35, 37-yard
Oh, yeah,
punt.
field
pretty much in
position's
high
huge.
school,
Field
yeah.
position's huge in high school football. You can flip the field with a great punt, and that's why we go for it so much on fourth down. If we're down around the 10, 12-yard line, I know taking a field goal is an easy thing, but if it's not a tight game and those three aren't something we feel like is going to be a game changer, let's put some pressure and go for it. If we don't get it and we can hold them as our defense has been playing without, now we got great field position to start the next drive. So,
Yep, Coach, they call it settling for a reason.
well, sometimes you need that three. Sometimes
Oh, yeah.
field position is more important.
Yeah,
So,
you'll have
depends
to
on
look
the
hard to
situation.
find that.
That's right.
Hey, we'll take a short break and be right back, so you stay with us.
Hi, I'm Chuck Hartwell from Community Bank, and I would like to remind you that we're here to help you with all your financial needs. We can help you with loans for almost everything from getting married, buying your first car, getting ready for a new baby, buying a house, or going to college. You see, we're the bank that lives up to our name, Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County. We're Community Bank of Dublin-Lawrence County, where common sense banking never goes out of style.
All right, welcome you back again. We're just trying to highlight some of these young players, some of these young men, I should say. They're not such young players anymore. A real senior-laden team, really doing well, expecting great things out of West Lawrence in this second part of the season, as we like to call it, and as we move into the third. But you can't take anything for granted, that's for sure. We were talking just a moment ago a little bit about Cam Cooper, about the good job he's done, and so let's talk a little bit about special teams, about your return on punt. And you broke one. Dorsey broke one this past week, right?
Yeah, kickoff return.
kickoff?
We've had a couple big ones back there. Dorsey's an explosive guy, got a lot of speed. If we can get him a little blocking up there, he can make some things happen. We got a couple guys back there that I think are dangerous on kickoff. You got Daniel Dorsey, you've got Shante Burney back there, Lorenzo Turner, who's a very fast kid. If he can ever get a window and get downhill, he can make some things happen as well. And a big one too. You mentioned his punt return. We don't always get the big yards, but we got two very sure-handed kids back there, and Brent Carr and Bradley Wilson are going to catch the punt. And that's a big deal in high school. That thing hits and starts rolling, you've lost 20, 25 yards. So it's big to make sure we got a couple guys, and that's why we put two back there, is that we'll give up the blocking and the return a little bit just to get up there and catch the ball. Because that field position is huge. It's a lot easier to start a drive on your 40, than on your 20, for sure. So.
Yeah, it's sickening to you. I mean, it really does make you sick when that ball hits and rolls and
Right.
rolls and rolls, and it's like, Lord, why can't we? But there you are, you have two sure-handed young men, and they are doing it exceptional this year. You got to pat these young men on the back when you see them in the community, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we want to talk about a week off. So you got a week off. You can kind of get past a little bumps and bruises. You can kind of look ahead at two very formidable opponents. I'm not sure that Perry's not better than Mary Purcell, but you got to play Mary Purcell first, and they're always physical.
Yeah, they're a good football team. They've been a good football team year in and year out. They've got a great program going up there. Coach Nelson and his staff do a great job, and like you say, they've been on top of the region since 2015, and no one's knocked them off. And so until you beat them, they're still the one. And we're going to have to go on the road in a very hostile environment. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere. And they're going to be jacked up and excited, and it's going to be a physical, hard-fought game. And the team that makes the fewest mistakes and that capitalizes on the mistakes the other team makes is going to be the one that's going to come out on top.
Yeah, it is a hostile environment. We're looking forward to that. We're going to break more of that down and know what we're looking for next week on the Coaches Show. But this week, we just want to be able to highlight these young men who are working so hard and having so much success this year at West Lawrence. And we just wish you continued success and success this week in preparing for a tough game next Friday night. So open this week. Traveling to Mary Purcell next week. We look forward to covering that game, and we look forward to seeing you right back here so we can speak to Coach next week and kind of break down and see what we expect from Mary Purcell's game. Stay tuned right here to TV 35. And Coach, thank you as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you.